Yay, welcome back. We are entering the fifth day of a conflict that, just a week ago, many thought was impossible. But today, reality is unfolding before us in a grim way. The Iran-Israel war is no longer empty threats in diplomatic forums. It has become a wildfire spreading at breakneck speed, burning away the stability of the entire Middle East. Right now, as you watch this news from the safety of your home, thousands of American citizens in West Asia are facing an emergency evacuation order. Washington has made a difficult decision to ask people to leave immediately as our diplomatic facilities are under constant attack. The skies over Jerusalem are ablaze with interceptions, and the Strait of Hormuz, the lifeline of the global economy, has been closed. The biggest question now is, are our children, the American soldiers stationed in the region, in direct danger? And can we prevent a third world war before it's too late? Israel is responding forcefully, but what will the ultimate price be? Ladies and gentlemen, what has been happening in the Middle East over the past 24 hours is a stark warning to anyone who still doubts the severity of the Israel-Iran conflict. For the first time in decades, the U.S. State Department has issued an urgent notice, urging all American citizens in West Asia to leave immediately. This is not a regular advisory. This is a wartime evacuation order. Why is Washington resorting to such drastic measures? The answer lies in the thick black smoke billowing from our diplomatic buildings. In Dubai, an Iranian drone crashed into the U.S. consulate. Satellite imagery shows significant damage. But that's not all. Embassies in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait are also in the crosshairs. Iran is waging a calculated campaign to drive the American presence out of the region, regardless of the disastrous diplomatic consequences. For our generation, who have witnessed historical upheavals from the Cold War to the Gulf War, we understand that when embassies are attacked, it signals the collapse of the international order. Even Turkey, a key NATO member and home to many important U.S. military bases, is no longer a safe haven. Recently, the Turkish military shot down an Iranian cruise missile in its own airspace. Although there are reports suggesting the missile may have veered off course when targeting Cyprus, the risk is undeniable. A small mistake, a missile landing on Turkish soil, could immediately trigger Article 5 of the NATO treaty. Do you know what that means? It would mean mandatory U.S. military service, and the nuclear clocks would begin ticking down to a direct confrontation between the superpowers. Are we facing a black swan event that will change the geopolitical map forever? While the skies blaze with fire, the raging waves of the Strait of Hormuz and the Indian Ocean are telling a terrifying story. Let's be frank, folks. What's happening in these vital shipping lanes will soon be reflected on your gas bills and food prices in the United States. Iran has just declared a complete blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, 20% of the world's crude oil passes through this tiny choke point. When it's closed, the global energy market isn't just shaking, it's in a state of panic. For those living on pensions or fixed-rate retirement funds, this is bad news. Soaring oil prices mean everything, from heating in the winter to grocery delivery costs, will become more expensive. But amidst this gloom, the U.S. Navy has proven why it remains the most powerful force on the planet. In a breathtaking hunt near Sri Lanka, one of our nuclear submarines launched a torpedo that sank Iran's IRI Dena warship. This naval battle is more than just a statistic. Reports indicate at least 80 Iranian sailors were killed. This is a strong message from Washington. America will not stand idly by while freedom of navigation is threatened. However, what is the price of this tough stance? The Iranian Navy is responding with a barrage of suicide drones, causing chaos throughout the Gulf. In a recent press conference, U.S. military leaders delivered 3 critically important updates that we cannot ignore. First, the U.S. declared it would gain complete control of Iranian airspace within the next few days. Second, they asserted that Russia and China are currently not significant threats in this conflict. And third, and what worries me most, is the warning. Larger attacks are yet to come. When military commanders say, "We're just beginning," that's when we must prepare ourselves for a protracted war of attrition. The Israel-Iran conflict is turning international waters into a graveyard of warships, and the safety of American sailors is being weighed down every hour, every minute. Ladies and gentlemen, while the U.S. focuses on targets at sea, the Israel Defense Forces have launched an air campaign on a scale unprecedented in modern history. Their jet squadrons are not just striking the border, they are flying hundreds of miles deep into the heart of Iran. Targets such as Isfahan, Natanz, and Shiraz, home to top-secret nuclear facilities and missile control centers, are now under fire. Look at these numbers to see the intensity. Over 700 sorties in just the past few days. The Israeli military claims to have destroyed more than 150 ballistic missiles and 200 enemy air defense systems. But these weren't random bombing raids. This was an extremely precise, surgical strategy. Their objective was clear: to wipe out the regime's centers of power and neutralize missile launchers before they could fire. The battle map reveals a worrying trend. Attacks are concentrated in central and western Iran. Why the West? Because Israel and the U.S. are seeking to create a safe air corridor directly over Tehran. They are clearing obstacles in preparation for the next steps, which we can only predict will be even more devastating. Tehran has been relentlessly bombarded, and even the holy city of Qom is not immune to the conflict. For us Americans, images of burning cities and skies ripped apart by missiles evoke painful memories of past wars. But there's a detail more terrifying than the numbers: the emergence of reports of an assassination plot against former President Donald Trump, which Washington alleges was orchestrated by Iran. While concrete evidence has yet to be publicly released, this information has fueled the flames, further increasing public outrage in the United States. We are not just witnessing a border war, we are witnessing a direct confrontation of ideologies, where our sovereignty and our leaders are directly threatened by Iran and Israel. Is this the price the world must pay for freedom? Ladies and gentlemen, amidst the explosions of missiles and the chaos of the battlefield, another war is silently unfolding: the war of information and public sentiment. In Washington, the strongest pronouncements are being made. Military leaders assert that Russia and China, our two biggest adversaries, are currently merely marginal actors in this Israel-Iran conflict. This is a confident message, but does it accurately reflect reality? For Americans who have weathered the ups and downs of history, we understand that no war in the Middle East goes unscathed, leaving behind consequences that last for decades. Reports now indicate that the CIA and Mossad are beginning covert operations, reaching out to opposition groups within Iran, such as the Kurds in the northwest and the Baloch in the southeast. The plan is to arm them to defeat the regime from within. But let's remember the lesson of the past. Does sowing rebellion truly bring peace, or does it only create a more dangerous power vacuum? Meanwhile, the regime in Tehran is proving incredibly stubborn. They postponed the Ayatollah's funeral at the last minute, a sign of the intense power struggle and infighting behind closed doors. Their message to the U.S. and Israel is simple: don't be foolish enough to interfere. But, my friends, what worries us most is the safety of the American soldiers on the front lines. When defense officials declare we are accelerating, not decelerating, we must ask ourselves, where is the stopping point? Are we being dragged into a new quagmire, where promises of a quick victory will soon be replaced by years of pointless sacrifice? The Iran-Israel war is not only testing military strength, but also the courage and steadfastness of the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, history does not end quietly. The events we are witnessing today, from the explosions at Isfahan to the naval battles in the Indian Ocean, are not mere accidents or coincidences. They are messages. A single shot fired, a chaotic crowd, a nation frozen in fear. That is how history rewrites itself. We are living in a moment where a small mistake can bring down governments and mobilize vast armies. This Iran-Israel war is not just about who won or who fell on the battlefield. It's about the future of our children, the stability of the American economy, and our country's place on the world map. As darkness descends upon the Middle East, we must ask ourselves, are we clear-headed enough to see through the sensational headlines and find the truth? Israel will continue to fight for its survival, and the United States will continue to defend its core interests. But above all, we, the American people, need unity and clarity more than ever. Let fear not overwhelm us, but let us not turn a blind eye to the harsh realities we face. If you believe that peace is the only way to save humanity, please leave a comment, "Pray for peace," below this video. It's not just a line of text, it's an affirmation of our hope. And if you believe that truth matters more than propaganda, please subscribe so you don't miss any important updates on the situation in Israel and Iran. We will always be here, bringing you the most authentic and insightful analysis. Thank you for watching, may God bless you, and may God bless America. See you in the next broadcast.